Okay. Hey, everyone. I'm super excited for the next part of this conversation. So, for all of you who may have missed Tuesdays, you want to go back and watch the recording because it is so freaking good. I heard from so many people, Josh, that watched it that they were like, what the what? Like, all the nuggets and the wisdom and the gold that you gave everybody was unbelievable. So, I'm really excited for this next piece of this. And I have a sneaking suspicion we'll do this again. Because let's face it, like, this isn't enough to like dive into the world of Josh. I feel like people really need to get trained by you and really understand powerfully how to network. So yeah, I feel very passionate about this. So with that, let's go ahead and let's just dive in and talk about people will be joining and as they have questions or whatever, we'll go ahead and get the questions answered. But in the meantime, I know that there's always typical questions, so let's go with those and keep jumping in. So obviously this is not you and I in the picture, but we'll
Hey, Catherine,
yeah.
I actually have two questions.
Hey,
Have you ever had someone who's been questioned ask the questions?
have I ever had somebody who's questioned asked like other than you?
Yeah, like ordinarily someone comes on and they answer questions. They don't ask questions, they answer the questions.
Right.
So I'm asking for permission to ask two questions first.
Yes.
Is that cool?
You have full permission to do whatever you'd like.
All right, thank you. So this is something that entered my brain, I don't know, a year ago, maybe. Here's the question. If you were to go to some business professional and you were to say, hey, I want you to be really candid. Like, tell me, like, really truthfully, how important is building relationships for your business? How important is building relationships for your business? Like, really, seriously,
Right.
what are they going to say?
Well, I mean, I'd hope that they'd say like critical.
Exactly. And that's what they do. That's exactly what they say. So that was my first question. But then here's the second question. Awesome, amazing. So since it's critical, like all things that are critical, you have a process. So what is your process for systematically building real relationships?
Right? Yes.
They
And I
don't
don't
have,
think people think about that.
yeah, but I mean, if it's so critical, then why in the world not?
Right. And it's the piece of like when and where would we have been taught,
Yeah, right, right,
right? Which
yeah,
is why what you're teaching here is so critical for business owner success.
exactly.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. And I love this. This is really cool. So let's talk about, and I think this is a huge part of why, like not having the system. But if they had the system, would they have the fear of rejection? Would they have like what to say? Like, again, I love your system because it literally deals with all of these. So let's
Right.
dive in and talk about these. Because this is, again, I hear from so many people. I had a conversation the other night with somebody, and he was just sharing with me like how he had to have like something to like alcohol to drink to like calm down to have these conversations. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. How many other people? And if we think of happy hour networking,
Yeah.
and I wonder like, wow, maybe that's why they do it like that, because people are so nervous or whatever it is. But does drinking really actually solve the problem? Because if it's not intentional follow up after a relationship built, what was the point? Right? So I feel like what this brings is that beautiful sense of calm and being in control and now having an actual actionable plan for them to be successful with networking, right? And I feel like if people like had this training and this muscle, it would calm them down and then they would go into it feeling confident and really gain some traction here. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's just a whole side note, but again, it just brings it back to why I feel this is so important for people to understand.
But what you're talking about, it has to, if there's something so incredibly exciting that you're passionate about, the challenge isn't speaking up. It's when you hold back and not speak because you can't help but get it out there.
Right.
And so many people who are doing networking, they're trying to muster up the courage to get something out. And so that's a root, there's a root problem. it's not, yeah, so maybe alcohol or something can loosen you up so you can do this thing that you don't necessarily even feel passionate about. So
Right.
what if instead of doing that, you actually knew what you were passionate about and what you're doing professionally is backed by sincere, deep passion? Then when it comes to networking, you don't have that problem. You are
Right.
super excited to get out there because you have something super passionate to get out of you. And
Yeah.
so that makes it so many people who may rely on alcohol or something, they don't need to.
Yes. I love that. So let's talk about this, about your what you teach and how it deals with these things.
Okay, sounds good. Is there a particular question?
So just the, breaking down like so what the roadblocks are and what the solution is. Like, so for people who may have not watched Tuesday, like let's just go through like a huge part. Like, we can never train on what you train enough. And people have to hear it, what, 21 times for them to actually get it. So this would be two. So we're gonna have 19 more to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we got almost like a third of a year booked out now, right?
Right?
Yeah. All right. So what's one of the obstacles? What's
So
one of the
one
challenges?
So okay, so well, fear of rejection, right? That like the whole, um, it had the whole awkwardness of starting the conversations. Like I really loved what your ideas were, and then what to say, and then the whole fear of bothering somebody, right?
Okay,
Like
right.
I feel like how you address that and open those convers and create the opening literally disappears all of those.
Yes. Yeah. So let's go through these four things. Just breaking through, and how do you navigate roadblocks? There's the fear of rejection, and how do you see no not as a rejection, but rather an opportunity? Then there's what to say. How what do you say? I mean, period. Well, question mark. What do you say?
Right?
And then there's the fear of bothering. So when you're doing networking, it's about relationships. And what I shared in the last the 2 days ago was you want to meet someone and think of every person you meet as being a potential solution to the people you love. So let's say you are in lawn care. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe you own a lawn care business and you constantly are working with people and taking care of their lawns, but maybe you notice that some of your clients, they have a horrible paint job. I mean, the lawn looks great, but the paint on the house or the whatever looks horrible. And so you're thinking, man, I really want to take care of my clients because you care about them. And so if you care about them and then you can help them improve their property and how they feel about their property by connecting them to a paint person, then why in the world wouldn't you know a paint person? And whenever you do networking and you meet someone who has some profession, think, do my ideal buyers need this person? Like this, a professional who does this thing.
I
And
mean,
if you're,
that's a whole different way of being of service. I
yeah,
so love that.
yeah, yeah. And so if you're always on the hunt, not actively like you're hunting down, but passively, if you're always keeping your eyes out for someone who can provide a service that your buyers need, we're working on the premise that you love your buyers. What does love mean? Love means to care for, to support, and to nurture.
Mm,
That's what love means. Do you love your buyer? Do you care for, do you support, do you nurture your buyer? The answer should be yes. If it's not, get out of your line of work and find someone where there's something where you can support the people you love. All right.
right?
Now,
I love
assuming
that.
you love your buyer, let's just assume that's the case. Why in the world would you not connect with the other people who love the same buyer? When you help them, you help your buyer. When you help
Right?
them, you help yourself. When you help them, you help them. So why in the world would you not want to help them? So every time you connect with someone who theoretically is talking to your ideal buyer, say, hey man, I love the fact that you're doing that. And I may be talking to your ideal buyer, but I don't know, and I want to learn more. Can I have a conversation with you to learn about your ideal buyer and see if I might be able to make some solid connections for you? Now, if you're networking and someone comes to you and says that to you, are you going to feel bothered?
Not at all. I mean,
No,
that's amazing.
you'll actually feel loved.
Right. Like
Yeah.
somebody was
So,
thinking of me. Like, what?
yeah. Yeah. Nobody, well, not nobody, but 99% of people don't go out of their way at networking events to say, hey, I want to help you. They say, hey, you should buy from me. Or you should talk about me. They don't try, most of the time, they don't actually try to intentionally help the other people by learning who the other people are looking for. So just listen to what we did 2 days ago. Listen to the process for connecting to people. Listen to what I said to do to schedule those meetings, to book those meetings, to have those meetings, and just figure out how to help them. And if you can't help them or you don't want to help them because you don't feel like they're a good fit, no harm, no foul. No harm, no foul meeting with them. But even on top of that, you still provide extreme value because you sit down, you buy them a coffee, you listen to them, you actively listen. And then by the time they leave, even if you never send them a referral because they're not a good fit, you just gave them the blessing of actually being heard, like
Mm,
actually heard. And how often are people actually heard? It doesn't happen.
right.
So not usually. And if you do the process that I teach, like you don't talk about yourself, again, listen to the last recording. But
Right.
if you do that process, statistically, you'll be liked 300% more. You know,
So I love that. I mean, because I've talked about that for years, is that it's better to be interested than interesting. And so
yeah.
I love hearing like I'd rather talk all about the other person than me any day. Yeah. So
But
I
how do you
love
do
that.
that? How do you do that though? And that's to your point, Catherine, is what we're not taught.
Right.
We're taught how to be interested.
Right.
We may
Well, you and I
know,
think you and I are genuinely really curious people,
yes,
right? So I mean
absolutely.
that helps.
It does. It does. So again, listen to the last recording, but if you missed that and you want a super high level cliff note, do this. Take a notebook. You can't see it with my background, but take a notebook. And then every meeting you have, first time meeting, write everything that's interesting. When they mention their kids, ask what their kids' names are, write them down. Their spouse. Anything that's interesting, write it down. When they say who they serve, what they do, write it down. Why do you do what you do? Write it down. Everything, write it down. And when they turn the table to ask about you, say, man, thank you so much, but I have another question. Do you mind if I ask another question first? They will say that's fine. And then you keep asking questions. Next thing you know, the time is up. I can count on one hand the number of times someone has asked me to say, no, tell me about you. Ask me that twice. Like they'll ask me one time halfway through, and then maybe later they'll ask me again, but they don't. You just haven't talked. And if you do that, you learn how to help them because you have enough time to really focus on actively listening. So fear of being bothered, if you do it relationally and not transactionally, you're not bothering them. You're loving them, and that's what they need desperately. So what to say? When it comes to what to say, I'm not gonna like this is the Q&A session. It's not the let me educate you session, and there's a whole lot of stuff. Like I got 2 hours on what to say, so I'm not going to tell you that right now. But I
Well,
will
okay, let's
say,
talk about that for a sec. Like
yeah,
if people really want to dive in and learn about this, let's talk about that for a second.
yeah. So it depends. There's two approaches. One approach is as of today, Catherine. You know what launched today? Yep, I see that. You're waving, you're celebrating. So the Stewards ecosystem. Stewards
Yay!
ecosystem that launched today at stewardsecosystem.com. I'm super excited.
So we'll
And
put it in the links and all the comments and all the
yep,
things. Yep.
as soon as someone signs up, here's what happens. They sign up and they instantly get a subscription to my software. They get an email from my software that says, well, it gives them their password and they can log in. It's supposed to be $3,000 a year. It's $0 a year. It's automatically complimentary. They can build their website, they can make their strategic plans, their business plans, all sorts of stuff. So they get that. But they also, the other thing that happens the same day, within minutes, is they get access to the very first lesson. It's 23 minutes long. And it's how do you unpack what's your purpose, your vision, and your mission? Because if you can't convey your purpose, your vision, and your mission, in like 10 words each. I mean, concisely. If you can't concisely say my purpose is blank, my vision is blank, and my mission is blank. If you can't do that, then you are leaving opportunity on the table because you're not connecting effectively. And so you've got to have that nailed down. That's the root of branding, which has to do with generating revenue, sales, all sorts of stuff, impact. It's also the root of building culture, retaining your talents, attracting the right talent. It's the root of both things. And so you've got to know that. So what happens is immediately you get access to how do you unpack, how do you craft a purpose statement, a vision statement, and a mission statement. And that's the very first lesson. But every 10 days, there's another lesson dropped, about 20 to 30 minutes. And what I've done is I've taken business training concepts, and then I've taken relationship training concepts, and I've put them in a logical sequential order so that you can get one step after the next after the next. And it's not all just relationship training, it's both business and relationship training. And so one way to get it is to sign up, and you'll just get a deposit of knowledge and action steps every 10 days. So that's $59 a month. And I feel like I'm advertising now and promoting. And I guess I kind of am, but at the same time, it's like a public service announcement. It's like
It
this is
totally is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, again, I feel very passionate. Like this, what you're teaching is so critical. And normally we don't promote anything on here. This is
right,
literally for educational purposes.
right.
And this is like paramount to people growing and expanding their businesses or whatever their jobs, right?
Their
Like
impact.
this skill is needed
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So if someone is making less than $50,000 a year in revenue, they can apply for a scholarship, and they will get a whole year of all this training and everything else for $9 a month.
Okay,
It's
Josh,
just,
that's extremely generous.
I know, but it has. So here's been my struggle, Catherine. I have spent a decade building software, building trainings, building companies, building value, and I charge a very fair price.
Right.
But my value is astronomical in what I provide, yet my
Right.
impact is minuscule in comparison
Mm,
because
yeah.
it's not getting out there and not effectively enough. So I was like, what do I do to just make this so stupid simple that anybody would do it because they just have to? And
Right.
that's how I came up with what I'm sharing with you. So that's how someone can get the training. Now, the I said there's two ways. One is what I just said. Why wouldn't they do that? Because it's 10 days for a micro lesson. They have to wait and then wait. And then now that's good. It gives them time to really ponder and flesh through and really let it simmer. And that's a great way to do it. The other way to do it would be to actually have me come in and fast track, expedite, a training on
There we
just
go.
relationship building. And if they want to do that, that's absolutely fine. They just have to reach out to me because we'd have to make sure there's enough participants and everything. And is it in person? Is it not in person? Like, no, not, yeah. So I would just need to flesh that out based off of my availability on a case by case basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could go into companies and do this, which is
Yeah,
huge.
I had one company, they had them and their other two closest referral partners, and they had their people all come together. And I went in, this was like drinking from a fire hose, but they had one session for 4 hours, just consume, 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 take a break for 2 weeks, come back and do the other 4 hours. And that's like a lot of information, but they instantly saw a skyrocket in revenue. Now they're always giving testimonial stories because they learned how to not only refer each other, because they already did that, they learned how to refer each other better, like significantly better. And so,
Right.
yeah, so that kind of thing, it can be adjusted case by case. But thank you for asking.
Yeah. No, this is huge. So yeah, let's keep going about the whole fortunes and the follow up. I mean, your follow
Mhm.
up, I've never had anybody follow up the way you do.
Okay, can I tell you my secret?
Please.
Well, okay, so it's not a secret because I train people on how to do this. But here's the thing. I mentioned the last time, Catherine, do you remember what I said? How many referrals to give during a first time meeting?
3.
Yes, there's a reason. You probably knew I had a reason because it's a very specific number.
You're very methodical. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it's a process. So here's the reason. Most people that you meet when you're networking, they are not having meetings, one-to-one, real-life meetings all the time. To have a meeting, they have to think, okay, when am I going to do this? And they got to put it in their calendar. Kind of, it's not the norm for them. So what you do is, Catherine, let's pretend you and I just met at, I don't know, after hours at the local whatever business after hours. So I meet you, and then we have a meeting, a one-to-one meeting at a coffee shop. So I introduce you to person one, person two, and person three, and they make total sense. Like you ask me to introduce you because it's a valuable introduction. All three of them.
Right. Right.
So I say, okay. So I make a three-way text introduction between you and person one, person two, person three, and then I say y'all should connect. Here's why. Happy connecting, and then I stress this. If you've received a referral from me like this, an introduction, you will have seen this. This is what I say. At the end of that introduction, I say, and please give me feedback. I highly value feedback because, and I say this, I highly value feedback because that helps me refine future introductions for both of you. So please give me feedback. Thank you. And I always stress give me feedback. What I just got done doing is having a single ask. All I asked for was what?
Feedback.
Yeah, right. Feedback. Is that difficult to give feedback?
No, it's totally easy, and I love that.
Absolutely. So
Well, and
I
it
do
gives
that,
me the opportunity to thank you for what happened, right?
and it gives me feedback on how it went so I can
Yeah.
refine future introductions for both of you. I mean, it just makes
Yeah.
sense. But what it also does is this. You say, Josh, man, thank you so much. What can I do for you? And what I say is, well, you know what? Now, if I don't have an immediate ask, now if you need my services immediately, I'm going to say, let's schedule a conversation and see how I can help you. But if you're not like a perfect close, like right now on the spot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, what about this? What you can do for me is meet those three people that I introduce you to. Tell me how it goes, give me feedback, and let's connect in, let's just say a month from now. How's that sound? A month from now. They say that sounds good. So then you schedule it on the spot for a month from now. So what's going to happen is Catherine's like, okay, man, I got these three introductions. What am I going to do? I'm going to schedule them out. So she schedules it, one with person number one next week, one with person number two the week later, one with person number three the following week, and then she's going to meet me in 4 weeks. So now every week she's meeting someone who already knows me. They've already received value from me. And she's going to say, so how do you know Josh? Or they're going to say, how do you know Josh? And then what are they going to do? They're going to say, Josh is fantastic. He helps me with blah, 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 blah. Right? And so Catherine, here's that 1 week, here's that second week, here's that the third week. She still doesn't know what I do because I didn't talk about me. All she knows is I provide ridiculous value. So then she sits down with me 4 weeks later, it's already scheduled, and then she is massively ready to learn about me. And she's doing it from the mindset of a relationship and not a transaction, which is the breeding ground for
Gosh, you're
actually
brilliant.
impacts. And here's what happens too. All three of those meetings she has, what's the one thing I said I want?
Well, feedback.
Yes. Does she give me feedback? Now I'm testing her. It's a test. It's one, making her fall in love with me, but two, it's can I rely on her to follow through on what I said? And if
Right.
she doesn't follow through with me, what's the likelihood I'm going to keep giving her introductions?
Right. It's not
Pretty
going to
low,
happen.
because why would I? But
Right.
if she does deliver on a simple request, now she's elevating, she's being elevated in my mind as to someone that I can rely on. And so
Right.
my follow-up process is I don't follow up. I don't have to
Mm,
follow up because they will meet me. And if they don't follow up with me, it's in their ball court. It's their opportunity to lose or to seize. And if they
right.
lose the opportunity, they can still get it back because maybe sometime later they'll come back and I'll be referred to them because they're doing great work and they've evolved in their communication skills or something. But if not, I'm not going to
Brilliant.
waste my time chasing people who can't communicate and follow through on what they say they'll do.
Right. Yeah, because they don't have the system built in, which is why you have created this so that they have the system. So again, I don't promote things here, but you guys, this is something I feel super passionate about. So you have it's launched,
Yeah.
and we have it as June 3rd, right?
Yeah, so we talked about doing a cohort, but that was
Yep.
before the stewards ecosystem became a thing. So when we talked about it a
Right.
couple of weeks ago, it's like, let's just make it, there is no limit. If
Yep.
somebody needs guidance, just go to stewardsecosystem.com and sign up.
And we'll put it in the
Perfect.
chats. Yeah, all that.
Perfect.
So we're gonna follow up with that because again, Josh, this is like I swear to God, every time you talk to me, you like blow my mind. So I can only
Thanks.
imagine what other people are
Thanks.
thinking. So I really want people to connect with you. So other than going to that website, how else can they actually connect with you? Because I feel like
LinkedIn.
everybody needs to know you
Yeah,
and have a
LinkedIn.
conversation with you.
So like there's so many different social media platforms and all these things, and I made a decision years ago that I'm not going to be all over the social media scene because my mental bandwidth is only so much. But
Right.
LinkedIn is the platform that I'll go. So just look up Josh Lyons and Pensacola. If you put in Josh Lyons Pensacola, you'll find me. And there's a picture of my face. It'll be really easy to find me. And
Right.
just shoot me a message there and say, hey, I heard you on Catherine's webinar and would love to connect. And I will absolutely respond, and we'll take that wherever that goes.
I love this. Josh, you truly are extraordinary. You blow my mind every time. So, for everybody that's watching, seriously, reach out to him. You will not be sorry. Like, again, the number of connections, Josh, I can't even thank you for all the introductions and all the things that are happening. I mean, it's blowing my mind, and I'm super excited about all the things we're creating together and
Yeah,
using AI and all the fun
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Same
So
here.
it's going to be awesome.
I'll also tell you my email address. It's really
Yes.
easy to remember too. It's Josh at whoisjoshlyons.com.
That's brilliant. I love that. Okay, good. So, everybody reach out to Josh. This is amazing. I promise you this training will it'll change your life. It is truly extraordinary. So, Josh, thank you for who you are. You're extraordinary. I so appreciate you. And I can't wait to see, everybody jump into your course and really intentionally take on the power of networking the way that you do. It is brilliant.
Thank
So
you so much.
thank you. You're amazing. I appreciate you. And I know we're going to have you come back on and we're going to talk about more things. So awesome. Have an amazing day. And I know I'll talk with you later.
You too, and thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Okay. Bye bye.